Hey guys, it's Josh here with Take 'em TV, and today I just wanted to go over my beginner coyote hunting setup. This will be the second gun that I've ever tried to coyote hunt with or go predator hunting at night with, and so far I'm really enjoying this platform over my previous one. Before, I was using a bolt action 223 Thompson center rifle. Worked great, but it definitely struggled with some things, i.e. shooting fast, follow-up shots. But for precision, it was awesome. So I actually went ahead and upgraded to an AR-10 base platform. This is going to be a 308 AR-10 specifically. I didn't really spend a whole bunch of money getting into this platform. It kind of fell into my lap, which I was super thankful of. But I just wanted to come on here and show you guys what I'm personally using as a beginner setup. So if you're looking to get into predator control, or if you're looking to getting into night hunting or IR hunting specifically, this is going to be the video for you. So, alright, so starting off, I just want to do a basic overview on the rifle itself. So on the lower right here, we just have a Bushmaster 308 lower. This is kind of how the project fell into my lap. I was able to buy the lower portion fairly cheap off one of my friends who was they were buying a new lower for their AR-10, so this is how this whole project started pretty much. But it's just a basic run-of-the-mill Bushmaster lower. It has all factory stuff, so the trigger's factory, which is something that I plan to upgrade here in the near future. But other than that, I put on a Magpul K2 grip. It just kind of fits my hand a little bit better than the factory one. And then I changed out the stock that was on it for a Magpul style stock. It was honestly their cheapest stock. I believe I bought it for $23 off AR-15parts.com. And it's just a fixed position stock, so that way I don't have to worry about moving this back and forth and changing my point of view on my scope, which is a big thing for me personally when it comes to night hunting. But other than that, the upper that I decided to purchase is a Bear Creek side charging upper right here. It's just something a little bit different that I wanted to try. I'm thinking about buying a suppressor for this setup, and I know that a lot of people complain about gas issues coming out of the back of the charging handles, especially with 308. 5.56, you can kind of turn it down a little bit with your adjustable gas block and everything. But I figured if I go ahead and suppress this one day, the side charger would probably help with limited gas blowback into my eye. So that was the main reason on why I went with the Bear Creek. But I was also able to purchase it fairly cheap as well. It was on sale. I think Bear Creek was running a fairly good sale, and I think I purchased the upper for I want to say it was around $230. But it was honestly a really good deal for a complete upper. It's an 18-inch barrel, and it has a 1 in 10 twist rate, so it's pretty good, honestly. The finish on the upper is not the greatest, but it's what you get when you pay $200 for an upper. So overall, the rifle build is insanely simple. There's some things that I would like to upgrade in the near future, like a different flash hider to one day support a suppressor, and possibly a new trigger and a new selector control here. Just something, move to a 45-degree throw, so that way it's a little bit easier on me. But other than that, I'm extremely happy with the overall rifle build. And right now we're going to go ahead and dive into the scope setup and the light setup that I chose to run. Okay, so first things first, for the scope setup, I decided to buy a Sightmark Wraith. I bought it used off a friend of mine. I pretty much paid full price for it. I paid $500, but it was in practically brand new condition, so I thought it was a fair deal. I didn't have to drive anywhere and pay taxes on it really. So it's a fairly good scope for the money. The biggest downside to the sight mark so far that I could tell is just the battery life on it. It takes 4 AA batteries in the back of the scope or on the other side of the scope, and depending on your weather and depending on how cold it is and everything, this scope does chew through batteries pretty fast. So Sightmark, they know that people ran into that issue, and so they sell an external battery pack that you guys can buy. However, I went ahead and just made my own right here. I cannibalized the light mount that came with it, and I made this little contraption right here. So I'll come in a little close for you guys so you guys can see this a little better. So this is the battery pack that I made right here. This is a 2500 milliamp phone charger, and I just went ahead and took the mount apart right there, took it in half, and then just electrical taped it onto the mount right here. So it sits relatively flat, it's relatively flush. So with it sitting, relatively flush and flat, I'm able to just put it right on top of the scope, and it doesn't, make too much, or it doesn't make the scope too bulky in my opinion. And then I just have a little power cord right here that I can run up to the front battery plug-in, and right there I have the scope pretty much powered for a couple hours. I went out a couple times last year and ran this in 0-degree weather, and for the 2 hours that we were out there, so I didn't have any issues on battery. This is a big recommendation that I would do for if you guys are getting into using the Sightmark, or if you guys are getting into night hunting and you're looking into IR lights that have batteries. Definitely invest in some kind of battery pack or multiple battery packs, because these optics do go through batteries fairly fast. I mean, they're all electronic. It's an LCD screen in there, and just the more you use the functions of the scope, like recording and zoom and everything, the more battery you are going to chew up on your scope. So moving forward to the front of the gun, right here I have a Sniper Hog light, and this is the 66 LRX model. I went and chose this one over the Coyote cannon just because it has a little bit of a bigger beam, essentially, like it's a bigger spectrum that it can see. I believe the Coyote cannon is a little bit more powerful though, but I was able to purchase this with 2 batteries and a charger for about $200, I believe. So with the scope, the light, and the rifle, I mean, we're really close to that $1,000 mark right there. And if you go ahead, you put on a bipod, which I would highly recommend getting a good bipod. This one is a bog pod. It is the Death Grip series. This is their fairly cheap option. I believe I was able to purchase this for about $124 on sale somewhere. But overall, I'd say I'm right around the $1,000 mark getting into predator hunting and night hunting, which I think is a pretty budget-friendly option compared to some of the scopes that are out there that are a couple $1,000 just for the scope itself. So, but overall, the 66 LRX is a really amazing light for the money. It has a focal zoom that you can just twist the front end of the light, and it'll give you a flood or a spot pattern, so it'll condense or expand the light pattern. And then your switch back here on the back is a multi-switch, so you can turn it up or down, so basically it's lower or brighter settings. I know they do make a push button for the back of this, to where you could just have a wire up to a push button up on the top of your gun, which is something that I've thought about putting on here, just because it is, it's a little bit difficult to sit here and twist this. It does get a little bit in the way sometimes, but overall I really enjoy the Sniper Hog light. It is definitely a must-do upgrade for the Sightmark Wraith. The factory light that comes with it is only good up to about 25, maybe 35 yards in my opinion. It just doesn't put out enough light, in my opinion, for you to be able to positively identify what your target is, and that is a huge thing when it comes to nighttime predator hunting. You need to be able to 100% identify your target. So that is why I would say the first thing that I would do is upgrade to a better light source, especially if you are IR hunting. And I would 100% recommend Sniper Hogelights. They are amazing, and the quality of them are amazing as well. But like I said, the last thing that I would invest in if you guys are looking into getting into predator control or hunting at night is a good bipod. And BogPod makes some really good products from beginner all the way up to super advanced carbon bipods. They're going to get you by. Like this one will get me by. There's definitely some upgrades that I'd like to do here in the near future. I've been seeing a lot of guys take off this clamp mount and put on a M-lock ball mount, essentially is what it is, which is something that I've thought about doing here in the near future, just because the clamp mount can, come loose a little bit, especially if you are shooting a bigger caliber like a 308 or something. So that, I think it's about $150 to go ahead and upgrade to a ball mount style mount instead of this clamp. But overall, I'm super excited to get out there this year, and I'm super excited to try out the new 308 build. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns about my setup, please put them down in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you guys are shooting. I'd love to hear what you guys would change about this setup. I'd love to hear what you guys think about 308 for coyotes, and I'd love to hear your guys' setup, honestly. It's a big community. There's a lot to learn about predator hunting and doing it safely at night as well. If you guys have liked today's video, please leave a like on this video and go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it only helps me out. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you once again, and I'll see you guys frickin' later. Peace.